Okay, today's video is going to show you how to deep clean your brushes. If you have not seen my do-it-yourself brush cleaner video, I suggest you go back and watch that. That will show you how to create a daily brush cleaner that you will use in between uses to remove color and disinfect your brushes. But that is something that you're going to do just during the day so that you can use your brushes one after the other, and especially if you're a makeup artist, making sure that you get the color out and you also sanitize them before you touch the skin of another person. In addition to daily disinfecting, you need to deep clean brushes depending on your use. For a professional makeup artist, depending on how often you use them, it'd either be daily but minimally weekly. For your personal brushes, once a month is probably good, but you can really decide for yourself. Once you start noticing that your brushes are becoming dry and brittle or shedding, there are a few things that could be happening. One, the alcohol that's in the daily brush cleaner could be drying out the hair, and that's what's causing them to shed, or you could have gotten water in your ferrule. So I'm going to show you the main parts of a brush. You've got the handle, which begins at the bottom of, usually there is a metal base here. So this is your handle. Then this metal piece is called your ferrule, and then you have the bristles on the end. Now, one way to know whether your brushes are a high quality brush is to check the ferrule. You never want to see a seam on the back of your brush. This should all be one continuous piece of metal without the metal folding over on top of itself where they glued it together. Typically that is a sign of a cheaply made brush, and that's not what you want. But you always want to make sure that you do not get water down into the ferrule, because that can loosen the glue that is holding the bristles in, as well as drain down into the handle, and it can cause the handle to split. So your brushes will last a long time if they're good brushes and you have really taken care of them. So we're going to start out with just wetting our brush. So you will see how I will make sure that I just get the tip of the brush in the water. And you can always use a little dish like this and put water in it. This is just my antibacterial cleanser. You can use a good shampoo that will clean the brushes, but for every once in a while I like to use something that is an antibiotic type or antimicrobial product. So this is just my dish cleanser. So I'm going to wet the bristle. Then I'm just going to dip the brush down into a little bit of the detergent, and then I'm going to massage the brush with my fingers, and then just kind of swirl it around on my hand so you can see that soaking up nicely. Making sure that we get down inside the bristles. And then I'm going to just run water on my hand. Let's see if I can zoom in for you a little bit. Okay, there we go, that's a little better. Okay, so I'm running water on my hand, on the palm of my hand, and then just letting the brush, circling the brush in the running water. Making sure that I'm using light pressure so the water is not hitting the ferrule of the brush. And so once I start seeing that the water is running clear, I know that I've got most of the soap out. So I just kind of like gently squeeze, and you can feel if it still feels soapy. Running it under the water, and it helps if you put your thumb over the edge like this, because if your thumb is getting wet, then you know that you need to pull the brush out of the water a little bit so that the water is not hitting the ferrule. Keep it tilted downward. Okay, so again I'm going to give it a nice gentle little squeeze. Try to get as much excess water out as I can. Then I like to shake mine a little bit. Then I'll take it over to my towel. Dry it off a little bit on the towel. Take the towel to gently squeeze again, trying to get as much of the moisture out as we can. Making sure that the handle isn't wet. And then you want to lay it on the edge of your counter to dry so air can circulate. So I'm going to do it on the other side. Let's zoom back out. So basically, I will take the brush and hang it over the edge of the counter. So let's see if we can move that back just a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So here's the edge of the counter by laying the brush over the edge so that the bristles are hanging over. That allows air to circulate. So I'm going to leave them there overnight to dry, because if I were to take it now and put it back into a container upright, any water that is in the interior of the bristles will drain down, and again, that's what we do not want to do. We do not want to get the interior of the brushes wet. So I'm going to lay that over the side. I'm going to do it with another one, and let me show you. Now this is a much smaller, this is a detail brush. So you can see that it's going to be a little bit more difficult, so you need to make sure you are keeping your finger close to the edge to keep it from getting wet. So I'm just going to take it and run the water on my hand, dampen the bristles, and instead of dipping the brush down into the detergent, I'm just going to take it gently on the side and then massage. We'll zoom in a little bit again so you can see. So here I am massaging the bristles. And then run the water on the palm of my hand. And I can feel that it is almost soap-free. So again, we're going to gently squeeze, holding the brush down, gently, just put a little bit of pressure on the brush, and the bristles, to try to get the excess water out. Tap it, and then go back to your towel and dry it off. And then again, lay it over the edge of the counter to dry. So you want to do that with all of your brushes. If you're a makeup artist, weekly, minimally, depending on your client base. It's really better to do it every night, and then the next morning they'll be dry for you to use. And for your personal brushes, I would recommend doing this once a month. Now, to make sure that your bristles, like natural hair bristles, when they do become brittle, that's a lot of the alcohol typically drying them out. So you can use a conditioning shampoo, or sometimes with my larger brushes, like these, goat hair is a little bit more coarse anyway, I will even condition them after I cleanse them. So I hope that this little tutorial has helped you out and given you a little direction on how to clean your makeup brushes. As always, thanks so much for tuning in to Spodelic's YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.